Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Wednesdays with Wynton. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Madeline Gardner, and we will have Wynton Marsalis log on and join us here in just a couple of moments to answer all of your questions. So thank you for joining us again this week. And before Wynton hops on, I just want to remind you all, I'm very excited. All of Jazz Lincoln Center has been working very hard. Wynton has been working beyond very hard to get this gala ready. Tonight, if you tune in at 7:30 Eastern Time to our gala tonight with a worldwide concert for our culture is going to be absolutely incredible. We have amazing artists from all around the globe will be part of this, so it's going to be a really special event. So I hope everyone can tune in. Once again, everyone that's just tuned in, my name is Madeline Gardner. I work for Jazz Lincoln Center, and we will be having Wynton joining us in just a moment. Joining us.
All right now.
Hi, Wynton. How's it going?
What's going on? What we talking about, Maddie?
Oh, just this little gala we're having. Just that we can spend a little bit of time on, maybe if you can actually tell the people a little background about the gala and how it came to be and what it takes to put on a virtual gala.
Well, it started when really very soon after we were sequestered. We've been working on it for 3 weeks, really hard. It's called Worldwide Concert for Our Culture. And I was thinking we're all in different places. So what if we talk to all the great musicians we've had a chance to play with all over the world and see what we can do to come together and play like we would do if we played over the telephone. And I started to call musicians, Duduzo Makatini from South Africa. And I was looking for certain type of musicians that are iconic in their culture. They've been playing for quite some time. A lot of them have schools, classes. They're deeply involved in their culture. Stefano De Battista from Italy, unbelievable soprano saxophone tape he sent in. The WDR Orchestra from Germany. Chucho Valdez from Cuba. Igor Boutman from Moscow. And a lot of us are really good friends for a long time. Like Igor, I went to his 50th birthday in the Kremlin, and I flew to that. I'm afraid to fly. So we've known each other since we were in our 20s. Makoto Ozoni in Japan, he and my brother Branford went to college together. And Makoto has a great school full of students. Richard Galliano, we did recordings together as just master of the bandoneon. And he's just, he sent in a wonderful tape. And it was all tapes that we were doing now, things that we worked on now. The Brussels Jazz Orchestra, we played with them. And Frank Van Davis, my man, we once again played with each other 30 years ago. In the jam session, we always laugh. We say, man, we're 31 years old, 28 or something. Look at us now. We've been together for a very, very long time. Chano Dominguez, fantastic, great genius pianist from Spain, invented a way of playing, of melding flamenco and jazz, and actually fulfills the specifics of both. Called him. And you can see just from the lineup, just the quality of the musicians, and then the response from each of them was so powerful. Hamilton J. Alanda from Brazil, man, what can you say when you hear him play? And they started sending in tapes and talking about what we wanted. We had 3 objectives, which is one, to say this music belongs to all of us. We've had a lifetime of playing it and a career, a belief in teaching this music, jazz, around the world, and that we are part of an extended family because we see each other. We always feel great. Like you see a family, we always feel like we want to play with each other, and we all have personal relationships. Chucho, I can remember my father talking about Chucho in 1973 or 72. Said, man, some cats from Cuba who really can play. And then Chucho came to my apartment in 1996 and left me with a book of Montunos that he'd handwritten and said, learn these Montunos. And he sent me, just yesterday we spoke, he sent me a picture of he and my father on the bandstand like last year or something. It's one of the most soulful pictures of Chucho sitting there smiling. And of our younger musicians, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, and Sullivan Fortner is a piano player we call Church Swing, and he and Cecile collaborate on a lot of things. I remember my father calling me about Sullivan saying, man, a little dude who's 11 years old just came to play behind some singers who were auditioning for high school. He said, man, we got another one who can play. And they nicknamed him Church Swing. And he's playing with Cecile, a fantastic track they did in their apartment in Brooklyn of I Love You. And everybody's at home. Bakr Abbas, genius of the flute from Pakistan. I mean, it's so soulful what he did. He played In a Sentimental Mood. His talking is unbelievable. It made me get full really to hear him talk. And then all of what he went through to play and his genius for playing. And he put a little drone at the end and started playing on top of it, all just deeply soulful. And we have Veronica Swift and Camille Thurman sing on the first track. We did a composite track of the band playing. You know, we're all into it, kind of doing these things like everybody's doing online. And Todd Whitelock, our engineer, we send it in him. We try to do it all. We can't do it in real time because of the speed of our phones and all these different things. But we do play to the rhythm section, and we're not mimicking. We're playing. And our leads play. I always have to laugh because Ryan Kaiser, our lead trumpet player, he always plays the same way. So when you hear this track of him on a cell phone playing, like he's the first voice to record it. So it's like only the drums and then him, and then later Sherman and Vince fill the lead parts in, and then the rest of us put the rest of our parts in. And Veronica and Camille just sing, and Veronica does a vocalese chorus, unbelievable. She grew up in that tradition. So I could go on, you know, and just people talking and hearing all the musicians talk about their country and the culture and what it's about. And it's songs that people know, like the WDR Orchestra sent in Dave Brubeck's Take 5. They had a really produced tape because this was before they weren't locked down. And they talk about the significance of Dave Brubeck to the tour that he gave in Germany. And Deduzo talked about A Love Supreme, and just to hear them singing A Love Supreme in that kind of South African voice is deeply moving. And just to see Chano play Well You Needn't, because it goes up a half step like what you hear in a lot of flamenco music, and him just in an apartment with an electric piano. I could go on, you know. It's soulful. We have great hosts. Glenn Close is one of our hosts that introduced songs, and some of our younger musicians. Alexa Tarantino, fantastic young lady, plays alto saxophone. Started a jazz camp. Is so unbelievably competent on so many levels, not just as a musician but an administrator. And you know, I know I see you looking bored, Maddie. I'm just going on and on.
Bored? I could never be bored by this. I was looking at all the comments coming in. You know, and I think also our guardian angel is on it. Diane Reeves played for us so many times, invited us to our home, cooked a meal for our entire orchestra, sat in our trumpet section at a live concert in Denver maybe 10, 15 years ago, has played our hall 30 times or something, is always there for every benefit. Anytime we need her to do something, she always answers the call. She has sung with us, gone on tour with us, made recordings with us, and we just absolutely love her. She sent in a beautiful track of Smile, Though Your Heart Is Breaking, with Peter Martin, who was online with us on Skane's Domain the other night, who I met when he was a kid in St. Louis, and Homero Lubambo, fantastic Brazilian guitarist. I was writing a symphony, and I needed to really know. I wrote some Brazilian section I called Homero. I said, can you listen to this section? And you said, no, man, I'll come to your house, you know, because I'm going to be in your area. And he sat out, and when I played him what I wrote, he said, you know, yeah, very good American Brazilian music, but all on the wrong beat. So he went through the whole thing for me and showed me what the beats are, what it should be. You know, Homero also a fantastic composer. I mean, just everything, arranger, player, the heart and soul of the man. And I'll be honest, when I looked at the first takes of it before we put it all together in the show, just to hear everybody's voice and the way they talk with the type of humanity they talk with. Oh, Igor Bootman, you know, in his rehearsal space, talking about the song he loved, played Mac the Knife. It's moving, actually.
It sounds incredibly moving, and what a beautiful and important time in a way to make people feel together when we're all so separate.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really a genuine moment because everybody, I didn't even speak with Chucho. We sent a message. I thought he was not going to send in a tape. He sent one. Richard Galliano, I didn't get a chance to talk with him. He sent in something. And it's genuine. Like we all know each other. We love each other. We have been around each other. Makoto, I called in today this morning. He was doing his piano live that he does, and he and my brother went to Berkeley, and he started to talk about the fact that my father and his father were born in the same year, and his father passed away a year or so ago, close to 2 years ago, and we were reflecting on what he learned about the music from his father. His father's also a musician, and across all the way across the world, you know, the same kind of time span if we think about our fathers. And we started to talk about another friend of ours, Kengo Nakamura, a great bassist that we recorded an album called Live at the House of Tribes with him. And I said, Kengo's father, every time I see him over 15 or 20 years, Kengo's father brings me some of that good sake. So I talked about a great party we had years ago in my apartment with Italian food and with sushi. And Kengo's father was there, you know, and so it's all those kind of memories, you know, that we have across the world. And when we speak with each other, that's what we talk about, you know.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That sounds amazing. A party with sushi, and also that sounds great.
You know, good Italian food.
Sushi, sake. Ooh,
yeah, you know, we arguing about we crazy arguing about whose food is the best. You know, I said, I'm from New Orleans. We just have a good time talking, playing music. And now it's even more because we're isolated musicians. We don't have a chance to play for people.
Right. And
when we talk with each other, everybody that I talk to says, man, when this is over, Stefano, we haven't played or talked in a long time. And Dado, the Brussels Jazz Orchestra sent in a piece that was for Dado Moroni, is an unbelievable Italian pianist that I played gigs with also 30 years ago. I have lost touch with Dado as my man. And their piece was an homage to Dado, but the piece was too long, so we got another piece from them. And I was talking to Stefano, and we said, man, when we get out of this, we got to. So Chano, too, all of us are saying, man, we're going to do this. We're going to collaborate. We're going to do this kind of thing. Now, you watch. When we get out, we're going to do a lot of interesting things. We're going to come together.
Well, I'm excited for that. I know everyone in the comments is incredibly excited about it, too. And they all say thank you so much about everyone's going to tune in tonight and very excited. Oh, and we have some people asking, what can we look forward to hearing the JLCO play tonight?
We played a new arrangement that Rich DeRosa did. You know, Rich is our man, one of the great arrangers in the world right now, of Yardbird Suite. And that's the one that's going to feature Camille Thurman singing and also Veronica Swift singing. And they're singing they're singing it. And we also have a blues that we've done. We started working on it 2 weeks ago, and it's called the Collaboratory Blues. We sent it around the band. I wrote the first chorus. I sent it to Victor, and Victor sent it to Ted, and we went around the band like that, each one of us developing on that first chorus. And then we went back, and each of us arranged our chorus, and then we started to layer the recording. And that's going to come out later this week. But I'm sure nothing like that has ever been done. Like even for us, we laughed at how consistent it all was because the arranging voices are so different. Of course, Carlos made his be a mambo. Then he's going to accuse me of putting him in the ghetto. But you know, every time I give him an option of what he does, sure enough, here comes a mambo. And everybody wrote in their style. Vince, of course, gave us something impossible to play on the trumpets and modulate it, and so on and so forth. So we're going to have that come out, and that's very interesting.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love everyone puts their own flair, but it has to, you know, it really comes together in the end.
Yeah, everybody has their own thing. You know, Paul Netzella, some of our members who don't arrange as much did a great job on their arrangement. They only have to have a chorus to arrange. Camille did a new one, impossible to play trumpet parts, that she wrote. This is the first time she actually has arranged for the band. Dan Nimmer wrote a nice kind of soulful swinging arrangement, a section that he put in there. Walter does like he always does, has a lot of dynamics in his. Now, we all played in the cell phone, so it's kind of funny. We have stuff going fortissimo to piano. It's a lot of funny. We send it into our engineer, Todd Whitelock. And Todd I've known Todd since the 1980s. As a matter of fact, and then after 9/11, we were in Los Angeles recording a piece entitled All Rise. It's the first symphony that I wrote. And we couldn't get the engineers we were due to record it. We couldn't get the engineers. There was no flying. Todd drove from Detroit to Los Angeles to record that piece. And we recorded, and we still had to get overtime from the orchestra. Everything was, he and Steve Epstein, great, phenomenal producer, came from New York, flew into Kansas City, Steve did. Todd drove from Detroit, and we're still working together. So Todd and I always argue about how much power should the engineer have. I hate all this recording in booths and giving the engineers all the power and the musicians don't play in balance, and we don't feel each other. So for years, 20, 30 years, we've been arguing about the engineering of power. So when I heard the first Collaboratory Blues, we're all on our cell phones playing in different environments. I told Todd, I was like, man, this sounds a lot better than I thought it would sound. It's a trip. He said, you see what happens when you give the engineer the type of control that they need? So, you know, we still, even in all of this, you know, we all have different personal circumstances and things we're dealing with, but we still have our humor. We still joke and laugh and, you know, play with each other.
Well, it's so important to keep that. You got to keep that, you know, keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
And for everyone that's just tuning in now, I want to let everyone know we're talking today about the gala tonight, 7:30 Eastern time. You can go to jazz.org to find out how to tune in. It's going to be an incredible evening with artists all over the world, all coming together to play music and to show their culture, and so show how all of our cultures are kind of intertwined and can be even more feeling so separate. Yeah. Oh, so we have another question. You have done so many collaborations with so many artists. What are some of your favorite collaborations that you've done?
Oh, I love so many of them. You know, from a personal standpoint, I think Yakub Adi and Odada, I learned a lot from him. A master drummer from Ghana. He's passed away now, but Yakub was so full of information. He told me one time, this is a royal rhythm, brother. I said, it don't sound royal to me. I'm from New Orleans. That is why you will never play it correctly. So he had like a lot of things he would say that I loved. And I loved, Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton sent me a whole blues list and a listening list of all classic blues, all of which he knew, and said, can you make it sound like King Oliver's band meets a blues band from Mississippi? And the lengths he went through to play and the way he knew the music, and we started to talk about turnarounds in the music and the seriousness of his scholarship. I love, it's the list of just Pedrito Martinez and Chucho Valdez. When we did this piece called Ochas, Pedrito took me to school on just the rhythms and the bata drums, and oh man, it was just unbelievably fulfilling. The New York Philharmonic, when I wrote All Rise in Kurt Masur, kind of just breaking down for me things about being in East Germany, and he wanted the piece to deal with integration. And his question to me at that time, maybe 1998, 99, we started to have those conversations. He said, what happened to the strain of Gershwin and Bernstein and people trying to actually come together? And America is so segregated. And he said, I come from East Germany, and I grew up in the Germany of Hitler Youth. He said, and let me tell you one thing to be aware of, is that the line of civilization is very thin. And people will sink down in barbarism. You have to always fight for humanity. And I remember Kurt Masur approaching me to write a piece for the New York Philharmonic before I had even written Blood on the Fields or anything for a big band. I thought he was crazy. I was 28 or 27 years old at that time. I thought, man, what are you talking about? I've never even written for a big band. I'm about to write for an orchestra. So every time I would see him on the campus of Lincoln Center, he would call me Fred. Are you still afraid to write for the New York Philharmonic? So it made me mad, you know, and he would keep doing that. So I figured it took me 10 years to really kind of figure out how I could apply what I knew about music to orchestration for an orchestra. So many great collaborations with Chano and the Flamenco Jazz Ensemble, unbelievable, that we did. Ted Nash's piece that we did with the Museum of Modern Art, the Portrait in Seven Shades, that was great. Spaces, animal kind of dances we did with Jared Grimes and with Lil Buck. I could. We've done so many. I could go on and on. And Willie Nelson, you know, Texas, Louisiana. I love Willie. Willie is so unbelievably soulful. I actually saw Willie on the road, and he said, "Man, they're gonna have Ray's when Ray Charles died. He said, going to have Ray Charles's funeral. You want to come with me?" I went to the funeral with Willie, and Willie, you know, Willie is the way people love him. You have to be around him so you understand. Then, ironically, we had a gig at the Hollywood Bowl, maybe a month and a half after that, and Natalie Cole was supposed to sing with us, and at the last minute she couldn't do it. She had a health issue, I think, or something happened, and we didn't have anybody to sing. So at the last minute, we had seen Willie's bus. We said, "Let's call Willie." We called Willie. You know, Willie came and did that gig. We wrote a couple of quick arrangements, and Willie came out and played with us in the Hollywood Bowl. So that many, incredible. You know, yeah, I could go on and on, things like that. With of course, with so many jazz musicians too. I mean, for me, it's been a blessing the whole time. To all the Alvin Ailey, great. We did Sweet Release with the great Judith Jameson. Oh, I could just For the Olympics, that's 96. That was also a fantastic experience.
Wow.
For us, on and
And I
on.
know a lot of these collaborations are on United We Swing. I know Willie's is, and so is Eric Clapton's on Blue Engine. You should,
Right.
which you can stream at home right now. United We
Right.
Swing, one of my favorite Blue Engine albums, personally.
Oh yeah, that was just great. Everybody, Derek Trucks.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a blessing to play with so many great musicians and so many different genres and ways, and to learn a lot. I always tell Carlos I'm gonna have to pay him for all the lessons he's given me in my clave, and he said, "Well, pay me after you've learned some of it."
Man, these people, I love all the wisecracking going on.
Yeah, we're always joking with each other. I talked with Chano. He sent me a blues already. I sent him a flamenco I was listening to. I said, Chano, what is this? He said, oh, it's a combination of a bulerías and something else he told me. And he said, it's a combination. That's why you couldn't hear it. I was trying to hear what the cycle was, and I couldn't. And I said, could you send me like some blues? He said, I was working on some blues just to teach you how to hear, cigarillas and all the different forms in the context of jazz. And he sent me my first one already. I got to get into it.
Wow. Incredible. Everyone, we have a lot of thank you for sharing. Everyone loved that story, especially that story about Willie and those are so fun. It was the last minute. It shows how amazing, artists, musicians you all are to be able to jump in. And speaking of great musicians, you had Dee Bridgewater and Chick Corea on your show this Monday night on Skane's Domain, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. How did you enjoy the conversation? You talked all about music, good reviews, bad reviews, and
I love it. I think for me, it gives people a chance to see different generations. A lot of times I'm in conversations where I'm amongst the older. Now I was younger. When Dee said, 1971, how old were you then, Wynton? But I love it. I love Chick. It's just you have personal relationships with people for long periods of time. I loved hearing Dee and Chick talk about recording sessions they were on in 1971. Because when you have that kind of, what happens with age is you have track records with people that you know. It's like Igor Bootman and I met in the early 1990s, late 1980s. So by the time you get to 2020, we've been friends for a long, long time. We have a kind of depth to our relationship. So to hear Dee and Chick talk about, the stories of Horace Silver and different people and her with Betty Carter and how they knew each other. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Fantastic. And a lot of people are saying Monday night was great. Everyone tuned into that as well. So that everyone wants to thank you again for doing these Monday night Skane's Domains and these as well.
Thank you. We're gonna do some other ones. We're gonna get Hamilton up here to talk about some choro, and we're gonna get maybe try to get a Nat Cohen or get Victor to talk about choro and ragtime, or we just try to tell stories and stuff. We're talking to Makoto. We're gonna get him talking about similarities of culture and all this different type of stuff.
Amazing. Well, thank you for doing that. I want to have a little roll call of all the countries representing on this Instagram right now. We have people from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, South Africa, Greece, Poland, Switzerland, Japan, Portugal, UK, Turkey, and the Netherlands. And I'm sure I forgot some too. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I mean, what a beautiful way to roll into tonight's, culture, everyone from all over the world tuning in as well. So
yeah, thank you. So, a lot of great times in those countries. Argentina, the great Fats Fernandez, trumpet player. Oh my God, the theater, the Grand Rex Theater. Chile, we played Amnesty International in 1991 in a big stadium of people singing a blues with us simultaneously. I don't know anything like that happened. 90-something thousand people. It was in my entire time of playing. I never experienced anything like that. But we started playing a song that Wycliffe Gordon, the great pine cone, played a phrase in his solo that reminded people of something that they sang at soccer matches. And they sang some real long tune that fit exactly over the form of a blues. And we were all looking around like, damn, man, is this, because normally a group of people just go, oh, hey, oh, or something like that. This was an intricate song, and it's up online somewhere, Amnesty International, 1991, Chile. And we came back years later, and I saw a lot of people who said they were there in the stadium that night. We were in Chile maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it still was something that they remembered. So I always, when I hear the name of Chile, I think about that experience. And, on and on, the countries you name, and just, the Netherlands, of course, Seoul, on and on.
Amazing. We have time for about one or two more questions from everyone. So keep on asking down there. Thank you everyone for tuning in. So we have how can I tune into tonight's concert, which is a great question I can answer very quickly right now. If you just go to jazz.org, you can find out all the different ways, jazz.org/Gala 2020. It's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, live stream, all over the internet tonight. So please tune into that.
Tune in. Also tune in, and when you tune in, if you hear musicians you like, figure out how to support them. Because everybody's struggling.
This is the time to support musicians, and we're going to see an array of musicians that are supporting each other too, which is so beautiful, that family aspect during this time.
Yeah, and another thing to realize about musicians, sometimes you might see a musician that's known, a musician can make a little better living than they made when they were growing up, but realize a lot of times for the musicians, they're supporting a lot of infrastructure, a lot of people, for families. I mean, everybody is struggling at this point, so it's hard to ask people for things. But for those who are in a little better condition than they think they could be in, look out for people. Not it doesn't even have to be us. It's just in general, help your neighbor up. You know, it'll come back. Help your neighbor.
And we're gonna end with this quickly before I'll give you the last couple minutes here to say any parting words. But tonight sounds like it'll be a party. What's your favorite party song?
I played in the funk band in high school, so I don't know. I don't know anything to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
Love that.
It'll be different things at different times, you know.
And it probably may be a good like Stevie Wonder tune.
It was plenty of them back in the day, you know. Plenty of them, Parliament Funkadelic. And then now it's, you know, a lot of different stuff, but it all has the same kind of spirit and vibe. The objective is still the same.
Yep. I love that. Well, I think tonight everyone involved will get everyone where they need to be, whether it's dancing, mentally happy, making you feel that warm feeling inside that maybe some people have been missing since all this. Well,
this is a spiritual thing. You know, it's more. It's a good time. We joke, we telling stories, but this is a spiritual thing. Family, people playing, and the musicians, they're very reflective because they're playing, and they also, you know, it's substantive. So you'll see what I mean. People. I always hate looking at myself. So some sections where I'm talking, I'm gonna apologize to y'all now, but I think we see a wide range of people, and they're all people in our family. Like the people who are talking. Catherine Russell introduces some of the songs that's in our family. Her father actually led a big band for Louis Armstrong. So we see how close our culture and our tradition is. And her mother was unbelievable, Carlene Ray, musicologist, teacher, guitar, bass, international sweethearts of rhythm, and Catherine, just what she brings to stuff, the type of effervescence and just the vibe and yeah, you're going to see a range of people who are in our family.
Fantastic. And we're going to close out by saying, you know, thank you everyone so much for tuning in to Wednesdays with Wynton. We'll be doing this again next week. And as well as every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, you can check out Skane's Domain with Wynton and special guests on Zoom and also on Jazz Lincoln Center Facebook Live. And tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, please tune in to our gala, the worldwide concert for our culture. It's going to be a really special evening. And Wynton, I will leave this up to you, the last couple words you'd like to say and leave everyone out with.
Yeah, I mean, just good to see you, man. You know, everybody,
good to see you too.
You know, thank y'all for everything. Thank you for all your well wishes. Check it out and see where people around the world are coming from, and know that these are not just people we call. Like we really truly know each other and love each other, and that's going to come through in the gala. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Wynton. We hope we all see you tonight at the gala. You can tune in at jazz.org/Gala 2020, or just go to jazz.org or Facebook Live, and we'll see you there. Thanks, Wynton. See you later.
All right. Thank you. All right. Yep.